are important in any relationship, right? But when there's pregnancy involved, those romantic moments tend to look a little more like this scene from Knocked Up.
Millions of people have sex when they're pregnant.
I know.
I don't know how it works. It just works, okay? Just do it.
It's all I'm thinking of is that I weigh over 200 pounds.
Just get over it.
I can't do it.
Yeah, that looks so familiar to many people, I'm sure, but it doesn't have to. Dr. Jen Landa is here to help us take the awkward out of sex during pregnancy. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We are happy to have you. And this is something I would imagine every expecting couple deals with, right? I mean,
oh, you hear this all the time when you take care of pregnant women, you hear it all the time. They definitely worry about these kind of things, especially like in the movie.
Yeah, and it's on both sides too.
Oh, of course. I was going to say it's not just the women or not just the men. Yeah.
That's true. Absolutely.
Man. But there's a lot of myth and fact out there and different things. And I'd say one of the biggest issues is women, we just don't feel all that sexy when we're pregnant. You just don't. Things are changing and growing and
moving bigger and
I mean,
despite the fact that your partner might think you've never been sexier, right?
Right. So what's your advice? I mean, how can we feel more sexy while we're pregnant?
You know, I think one of the things that some women worry about is exercise when they're pregnant, and exercising can definitely help you feel more fit, feel more attractive, and it definitely helps with sex because exercise is all about blood flow, and getting the blood flowing always helps with sex.
And some
lubrication.
endorphins.
And some endorphins as well, absolutely, and they're good for the baby too.
Yeah. We saw your list there. The other thing you say to do is experiment. What exactly do you mean by that? Not too crazy here. No.
Well, you know, it does mean that basically, especially the further along you get in pregnancy, the more uncomfortable you can be having sex, right? And you also know that you're not supposed to lay flat on your back once you enter certain parts of your pregnancy further along because it can occlude the baby's blood flow. Sure. So you want to try new positions, right?
Yeah.
So spooning is very helpful for a lot of couples, and also woman on top positions where she can really control the action are really helpful.
Okay, what about dressing up and pampering yourself?
You know, I think that's such an important thing. I think we as women generally, whether we're pregnant or not, don't take good enough care of ourselves sometimes to feel sexy and special, and especially when you're feeling like a house, because believe me, when I was pregnant, I felt like a house.
We don't all look like these models we're seeing.
Yeah, if only I could have looked like that. Anyway, but you know what? Most of us have a favorite part, and a lot of times in pregnancy, it's our boobs, right? They get bigger, and our guys think they look awesome. So, you know, get a new little nightie that accentuates the parts that you don't want to, you know, your hips and your thighs and whatever, you know, but low plunging neckline to really, you know, show off the girls.
We talk about focusing on the positive all the time.
That's right.
What do I call it? That's a reframe, believe it or not.
There you go.
And not to make people uncomfortable or anything, but as a doctor, you do recommend use lubricant.
Of course, yes. You know, some of the hormonal changes when you're pregnant can actually make the vagina drier. So using lubricant can definitely be a way to make sex easier, because when it hurts, who wants to?
Well, let's talk about the myths. There are a lot of myths out there. What would you say are some of the most common that you hear?
Well, I think one of the biggest ones is the one that we saw in the movie clip, right? And like you said, on both sides for both men and women. But I guess we've got to, especially the guys, tell them, don't flatter yourself, honey. You can't get anywhere near that far.
You're not
gonna hurt the baby. You're not gonna feel the baby. The baby's not gonna feel you. There's a whole uterus, musculature, the amniotic sac, fluid. There's so many things that surround the baby that it's completely safe, unless, of course, your doctor has told you that this isn't a good idea because of problems like bleeding or preterm labor, etc.
So you've got a great book. It's the Sex Drive Solution for Women, and it's interesting because you address how to keep your sex drive alive after the baby is born. How so? I know hormones have a part in this too.
Well, I think that's super important for couples because, you know, especially when it's a first baby, but even when it's the second, because you know what, I have 2 kids, and I remember one of my friends told me, 1 is 1, I'm sorry, Michelle, but 2 is 10.
Yeah, I've heard that, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's true.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my goodness.
you know, so you become even busier, right? And so you really have to focus on that relationship with your man, because a lot of times the man feels pushed aside because women are so involved in the baby care. And you've got to really focus on that relationship, and one of the best ways to do it is remember that you are a mom You are a mom, yes, but you are a wife first.
Okay.
And you've got to
That's
maintain
important.
that relationship because you know what? That's in your baby's best interest.
Well, thank you so much for joining
you.
us and sharing those tips. If you guys want more info, head online, visit Dr. Jen's website at drjenniferlanda.com. Thanks again.